I'm Chris Blazak, 35 years in real estate, over $500 million in closed sales. I've built my career on relationships, hard work, and knowing my market better than anyone in the room. And about 3 months ago, I started rebuilding everything with AI. Not because someone told me to, not because it was trendy, but because I saw what was coming and I refused to get left behind. I was literally on the phone with a web agency. Guy was talking me through their process, discovery calls, design rounds, revisions, handoff, and somewhere around the part where he said 6 to 8 weeks, I stopped him. I said, hey, let me try something first and I'll call you back. I never called him back because in the time it would have taken the agency to finish week 1 on their delivery process, my new website was live. It had 20 blog posts, neighborhood pages, schema markup, full SEO optimization, and it was built to show up not just on Google, but on ChatGPT and Perplexity too. The website is chrisblazak.com. It's mine, and this is the full story of how I got it built. Welcome to case study number 1, the old site. Let me be straight with you. My old site wasn't bad. It was actually pretty impressive for 2016. I had it custom built, paid real money for it. It was professional. It had my listings. It had a contact form. It had an ebook, a real estate seller's guide, my survival guide that I wrote, and tons of back-end information. And for a decade, it did its job very well. But here's where it doing its job looked like in 2016 versus what it can do in 2026. In 2016, someone typed real estate agent in your local town into Google, clicked your site, read your bio, and called you. That was the funnel. Today, the same buyer might never even touch Google. They open ChatGPT and they ask who's the best real estate agent in the area with experience in waterfront properties, and ChatGPT gives them 3 names. If your website isn't optimized for AI search, what they call AIO, and your name isn't in the answer, doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. My old site had 0 of that. No structured data, no EEAT signals, no content designed to be understood by language models. It was invisible to the new search. That's when I started thinking about a rebuild. Before I did anything, before I wrote a single word, before I opened any tool, I got clear on what I actually needed. I gave myself 4 deliverables, 4 things the new site had to do. Number 1, make my expertise visible. Over 20 years of selling and buying real estate, that knowledge needed to be on the page in a way people could find and actually read. Number 2, rank locally. When someone searches for a real estate agent in my area, I want to show up, not on page 3, not below the fold, right there at the top. Number 3, show up in AI search. When a buyer asks ChatGPT who to call, I want my name in the answer. That requires a completely different type of content than traditional SEO. 4, someone lands on my site, I want them to pick up the phone or fill out a form, not just browse and leave. 4 things, that's the brief. Simple on paper, complicated to execute unless you have the right tool. And here's where most people get stuck. And I want to be honest about this because I was in this exact place. The agency quote came in between $5,000 to $15,000, depending on how many pages, how many revisions, whether I wanted custom design or a template build. 6 to 8 weeks, multiple calls to align the vision. And look, I'm not saying agencies are bad. Some of them do a great job. Some of them don't, whatever. But here's what I kept thinking about. The agency has never sold a house. They've never sat across the table from a couple who just lost out on their 3rd offer. They've never negotiated a waterfront deal where the inspection came back sideways. They don't know my business. So I was about to spend 15 G's in 6 weeks teaching someone my business, hoping they could translate it into a website that sounded like me. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it would have been great. They custom build real estate websites, but that's not how it's done in 2026 anymore. So pay attention. So what I decided to do was spend a weekend of my life feeding 2 decades worth of knowledge in real estate and sales directly into AI that remembers everything I tell it and build it myself using OpenClaw. I said no to the agency. I invested in the 2 Mac Studio stack that I have, and it paid off. So here's the process of how the build actually took place. The tool I used is OpenClaw. It's an AI agent system, and what makes it different from just opening ChatGPT is the memory system. When I sit down with the OpenClaw, it remembers everything from our previous sessions: my market, my clients, my philosophy, neighborhoods, wins, losses, my style of communicating. It's all stored. It just works. There's a little training involved, but it's worth it. So every time I come back to work on the site, the AI isn't starting from scratch. It already knows my whole business. That's the piece most people miss. It's not just AI, it's AI with memory, and it changes everything. So here's what I did. Over the course of a few working sessions, I fed it everything. 20 years of real estate experience, the neighborhoods I know cold, the types of clients I serve best, the questions buyers and sellers ask me over and over, my track record, my philosophy on the market. And from that, the AI helped me build a homepage that leads with expertise, not just listings. An about page that actually sounds like me, not corporate speak, not a template bio. 20 pieces of content, each one built from real questions real buyers and sellers have asked me over the years, turned into articles that work for SEO and for AI search. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Neighborhood pages for every area I serve with real information, not the generic paragraph you see on every other agent's site. Schema markup. That's the structured data that tells Google and the AI models exactly who I am, what I do, where I work, how long I've been doing it. It's invisible on the page, but it's hugely important for how search engines understand the site. And the EEAT signals: experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. That's Google's framework for deciding which content to trust. We built the whole site with those signals baked in. All right, let's take a look at the results. I'm going to walk you through in the same way I'd walk a client through a property, page by page, what works and what still needs to work, no spin. On my homepage, first thing you see is who I am, what market I serve, and how long I've been doing this. The headline isn't clever, it's clear. Clarity wins every time on a homepage. Scrolling down, you'll get credibility signals, years in market, neighborhoods I specialize in, a sample of recent activity. Then you get into the why work with me versus the next agent in the list. That section came directly from conversations I had with clients for over 20 years. It sounds like me because it is me, filtered through AI's ability to organize it cleanly. The About page, this is the one I'm proud of. It's not a resume, it's a story, my story. It talks about why I got into real estate, what I believe about the North Shores market, what kind of agent I am. That's the stuff that makes someone pick up the phone, not a list of credentials. The blog is where the long-term value lives. 20 articles, each one targeting a specific question a buyer or seller in my market would actually ask. What's the difference between assessed value and market value? Is now a good time to buy? What should I know before making an offer in a competitive market? These aren't stuffed with keywords. They're real answers to real questions, written to be useful. And that's exactly what Google and the AI search engines reward now. It's useful, authoritative content from someone with real experience. Onto the neighborhood pages for each area I work, real information, school districts, market trends, what makes the neighborhood tick, not just a zip code and a map. Actual intel from someone who's sold there for decades. Now, here's where I'm going to be completely straight with you. The site has gaps. I'm getting a Candidly link so someone can schedule a call directly from that site without playing phone tag. Still not done yet. And the live MLS listings, real-time inventory pulled from the database, that's a technical integration that still needs to happen. Those 3 things are real gaps. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand this wasn't a finished product on day one. It took time. It was a functional, professional, optimized foundation, and every one of those gaps is fixable. Some of them in one afternoon. The point is, the foundation is solid, the structure is there, the content's there, and the optimization is there. Now, I want to talk about something that goes beyond the website for a second. There's a fear I hear from a lot of agents when AI comes up. The fear that using AI means replacing yourself. Like, if AI writes your content, it's really your expertise. Does that count? Here's what I found out by actually doing this. Your experience doesn't disappear when you use AI. It gets amplified. It's like pouring gasoline on fire. Everything on the website came from me. It's my 20 years of my career, my sales, my deals, conversations, neighborhood, hard calls, door knocks, wins, fails. The AI didn't invent any of it. It organized it. It formatted it for me. It structured it for the way search works today. But the knowledge, the credibility, that's mine. That's the shift I want you to make. Stop renting and start owning. And now, with AI, the cost and time barrier to owning your own professional web presence is basically gone. That's what this video is proof of. So that's the case study number one, chrisblazak.com, my real estate business, built with AI, built on OpenClaw, replaced a $15,000 agency quote, live, functional, and optimized for the way search works in 2026 today. If you're a real estate agent watching this and you've been putting off your website, this video is for you, because I know that feeling. I had the site sitting there for 10 years telling myself I'd get to it. That's exactly what happened. You don't have to wait anymore. The tools exist. The process works, and I'm going to keep showing you exactly how, one case study at a time. Case study number 2 is coming, and it's a different kind of project altogether. From the brand to the booking system to the content strategy, all of it built with AI. As always, hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment if you're liking this content. It just helps YouTube's algorithm push it out to those who need it. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Drop your questions in the comments, especially if you're working on your own website and want to know how any part of this process works. I read every one. I'm Chris Blazak. This is Red Claw Lab. See you on the next one.